Hi, everyone. I'm here with Henriette Espie. We had the pleasure of meeting last year for the first time in Las Vegas. And then I saw you just a few weeks ago in your beautiful country of Canada. Henriette, how are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
Great, great, great.
How was your trip to Banff?
I loved it. It was one of the most beautiful places on the planet I've been to be honest. There's a place very similar in California called Mammoth, California, in the Eastern Sierra Mountains. It's kind of a summer resort, and in the winter, it's a ski town, very similar to Banff, similar elevations. And that is my favorite place in the whole world. So I think you can already connect the dots that I have very much enjoyed myself there.
Good.
Yeah, I enjoyed Calgary too. It's a beautiful city, very clean and easy to navigate. I really enjoyed it. I had a wonderful vacation there.
Right on. Well, we were glad to have some people from the States, that's for sure. That made it even more special.
Well, yeah, it was good that we could bring the four of us up. Myself, Derek Hudson, Andy Muncie, and Ashley Muncie all came up to lift, and they live quite a bit closer than I do, but it was an excellent experience, and it's one I'll always remember. Um, yeah, but tell us about you and your lifting. You're 61, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're one of our masters lifters, and you lifted at the World Championships last year. And why don't you just give the viewers at home a little bit of your background, please?
All right. Well, I've been like a late starter in grip, that's for sure. My background was in bodybuilding about 30 years ago. And I did a little bit of powerlifting 30 years ago. My first contest, I got best novice female. And then, the bodybuilding was tough with the diet and all that. And then I just trained for fun for 30 years. I was in pretty gyms doing pretty things. And then I went to a new gym called Evolve, and I got introduced to so many, it opened up my gym world. I got introduced to the grip strength and the strongman stuff with Ian Wheat. I'm wearing his shirt here, Ian and Jess. And it was just amazing when I went into that gym and I saw people, girls lifting these heavy stones. And I'm like, what is this? It just opened my world for me. It was really good. And then Ian got me into the grip strength thing. He just said, on a Sunday afternoon, what are you doing? I'm like, well, nothing. He says, do you want to check out your grip strength? Like, I'm game for anything, right? And then I made it to Worlds.
Yes, you did, and you did quite well while you were there. And I think that's great. Ian and Jessica are very nice people, great, very talented, great lifters. So I'm sure they have an excellent training environment where you can push yourself and grow as an athlete. And one of the things I think about arm lifting that is really exciting to me is that it's you're not too old to start. If you're alive and you got hands, you can get started, and you can still improve no matter what your condition is. And I think the ability to push yourself and get focused, I think, is set goals, and I think it's really important, especially as we all age, to tell Father Time to hold on a little bit. I couldn't think of a better way to do it. And you had a fellow masters, Nicole, lifter with you.
Yeah.
Do you train together?
We trained together a lot. She just did a strongman competition last weekend here in Edmonton. And Mitchell Cooper was in Edmonton for the whole weekend. And I got to meet him. What a nice guy. And he was at the gym. You probably can't see this, but I got him to sign my belt. Like, I interrupted his workout. Yeah. So Nicole and I, and she did really well. And we're hoping both to make it to Florida for the Masters. So it's kind of exciting.
That is great. Can you talk about, first of all, it's a cool thing about Mitchell Hooper being a good dude. I always love to see and hear when the famous people are just regular people and they don't let their ego get in and turn them into something that they're not really. So that's exciting to me to hear that he's a good dude. He's certainly a fantastic athlete and very well-spoken young man. So I'm glad to hear that he was able to, talk to you and sign your belt and all of it. I think that's great.
Yeah.
But talk about the importance in terms of accountability and pushing yourself by having Nicole, a friend and fellow athlete, training with you. How does that make a difference for you?
Well, it's more about support than anything, right? And I mean, there's a size difference between us. We're not in the same weight class, but we're exactly the same age. And it's accountability. I've always got somebody there to work out with, which is her. And we both share Ian as a personal trainer. And Ian's doing a lot of group stuff now, especially for the Super Series. And I mean, it's worth mentioning that he had the highest attended Super Series in stage 1, right?
You sure did.
Yeah, and Nicole's hoping to make it to Orlando too. So hopefully we'll be, shacking up in a hotel together.
Well, that's a great plan. I'm sure with both of your dedications that you'll make it. And by the way, the preparations for the Orlando Championships, it's looking great. We're in a very good location in the venue. I haven't released it yet, but it's all according to plan. It's all looking very good. And I'm expecting a record number of athletes just based on people who've been direct messaging, calling, emailing, texting me. I think the participation rate is going to be super. And that's very exciting to meet all the other athletes and even some I haven't met in person. So I'm very much looking forward to it. The country in South America, Chile, they're sending a delegation to Florida for the first time.
That's amazing. And that's why, I got to jump on this while it's before it gets too big, being the age that I am. But Ode is a testament to you, speaking about age. I mean, he's beating guys that are, 20 and 30 years old, and he's what, 72?
73. Yeah, he's amazing on so many levels, right? As an athlete, as a person, as he's been my mentor, and I am proud to have taken over Armlifting USA from our joint collaborative effort when we formed it. But I've learned a lot from Ode Haugen, that's for sure. Yeah, and now he can enjoy his retirement and beat more young guys. So,
when I retire, I'm going to be in the gym 2 hours a day, just having fun.
Well, exactly. That's what it is for me at this point. I had some health problems in year 2000, and I feel blessed that I'm here. And for me, it's all fun. The trips to meet you guys and put on events for you guys. For me, it's all about doing the very best I can and having fun while staying healthy. Yeah. So, what do you think the potential for growth, Henriette, is? I mean, obviously in Edmonton, you had a ton of people, right? The biggest Super Series stage 1, but I think it can grow even more. What do you think about the potential for growth?
Well, I think it's huge. And I think it's just getting recognized now, right? And I mean, the Super Series 1, I think we had twice as many people in Edmonton as we did a year ago. And I mean, when I qualified for Worlds, it was just, I'm strong, but I kind of got lucky because of the, kind of the lack of numbers in my weight class, right? So I know now I got to work. Like I have to really work at this, and I've got to get strong. And you know what I tell people about grip strength, and it's what it is. It's a bio measure for a whole lot of health things that they don't know about. Like when I read this article, I just couldn't believe it. It's linked to, lack of diabetes, your limb strength, cognition, depression. I'm like, wow, this is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, they actually have gone into nursing homes and measured grip strength of 80-year-old men and women, and the ones with the greater grip strength have lasted longer. Now, I'm not, and the researchers didn't conclude that the reason they lived longer was because they had a better grip, but they said it was undeniable. The people who were so frail, who had trouble picking up their spoon, versus the people that had more mobility and could walk around, those people lived longer. and it was scientifically proven. And I read that article and I was like, oh my gosh. And that's why it's never too late to start, right? If you can pick up 1 pound, you can pick up 2. It may take some work, but you can do it.
Mhm.
And I think as the whole New York Times just had a big deal on the world population and how it's aging and how some countries are very young and some countries are very old. And I think everyone, not just me and you, but worldwide, investing in your health, you can't get a better investment.
Mhm. And grip strength is so, untaxing on your body. I mean, I can, when I deadlift at normal deadlift, I can do like 253, but of course with grip strength, I can't do that. So it's pretty gentle on the body.
Oh yeah, I mean, certainly compared to, and I'm not saying to not do strongman or powerlifting, but those disciplines definitely have more potential for injury just because the loads are so heavy. I did throwing both collegiately and post collegiately of shot put and discus for a long time. But as you get older, I'm 49. As you get older, your knees don't feel as good as they did when they were 20, your shoulders. And so those kind of things, arm lifting is certainly more friendly to people who are not professional athletes and who have to work a 9-to-5 job.
Mhm.
Henriette, what advice would you give to someone? Because you know that this is true. There are people who are watching our interview right now. They have the implements at home or in their gym bag. They're training them, but they haven't gone to a competition because they're nervous. What advice would you give them?
Honestly, just embrace it and try to hook up with somebody who's there already. Like when I went to Worlds, it was everybody was so inviting, especially when they found out I was 60. They were just kind of in awe, and it's just a really good community. It's not cutthroat like powerlifting. You've got 3 refs that are watching, eyeballing you to see where you're going to mess up or whatever. And here, I mean, even the judge, because I did those blocks, right? Those blocks that nobody likes, and it was the first time I did them, and even the judges say, no, giving me some hints, right? It's just
Right.
so inviting, and the community is so inviting, and it's just a great sport.
Well, thanks. I mean, we aim to please. We want this thing to grow. We want people coming back. We want people to do just what you're doing and tell everyone how fun it is, and hopefully they can bring a friend with them. Like I said, for the Super Series Stage 2, if you miss the boat and you miss Stage 1, come on out and lift in Stage 2 anyway, right? I mean, give it a shot. So I appreciate you very much for saying that, because that's something that, I spent a lot of time in this, but that's something I believe in my heart, that we want to create something that everyone wants to be a part of once they experience it.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your goals for the Stage 2? Any favorite events in this stage?
Well, you know what? I'm really liking the hub. I'm growing a really fond relationship with the hub. Like Ian had us walking down the turf with it the other day. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. And in Orlando, I'm hearing about this skinnier Saxon, right?
Yes.
So I want to try that. My Saxon is my worst. Like it's bad. But I got to work on that.
Well, that's why I switched at the big events to the smaller Saxon bars, because I want to make the competitions novel and new, right? It doesn't have to be the same thing with the same people winning all the time, right? I wanted to spice it up. And to be honest, for especially the women and some of the smaller guys that aren't these big, huge monsters, having the thinner diameter, it tests the grip strength a little more. And the big guys can hold it too. Obviously, it doesn't exclude them, but it might change the outcome of the contest a little bit. And it shouldn't always be about who has the biggest hands. It's supposed to be who has the strongest. So I think you're going to like it very much. Some of the women that I've talked to have already given me very good feedback that they're really enjoying it. So yeah, I think you need to tell Ian and Jessica to get one. Put it on the Christmas list.
Oh, for sure. They have the Saxon bar. First, they had it like locked in their locker or whatever, but now they've got it out for everybody to use. Everybody's like, what is that? And you could see people in the gym just kind of eyeballing us. And we're like, come on over, you know, test it out, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, I had a delightful time talking to you. I mean, on the show. I look forward to seeing you in Florida in a couple months. Train hard. Good luck in stage 2. And thanks for joining me on the show today.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. See ya.